and welcome to the third module of this course. In this module, I will be showing you how to cut out the fabrics for a male CNS garment. In cutting out the fabrics, I have my fabrics here, which is 4 yards, okay, and I folded this in 4 places. I folded this vertically the first time and I folded horizontally the second time, which makes it in 4 places. So this is the first piece, this is the second piece, this is the third piece, and this is the fourth piece. Now, in folding vertically, that means I have the front and the back folded together. So what I have from this edge to this edge is the wideness of my fabrics, and what I have from this edge downward is the length of my fabrics. So I have 2 pieces here after folding this vertically. This piece is for the back, while this piece is for the front. Okay, so after folding my fabric, I ironed out the shoulder line. So this folded side is going to be the shoulder line. And this side as well, I ironed it out, which is going to be the center of the front and the center of the back panel. Now that I have my fabric folded properly, then the next step is to place my pattern on my fabric. Now I will be placing my pattern on my fabrics. Here is the pattern we drafted in the second module of this course. So I have my placket allowance folded inward. I'll have to open it up like so. Okay, so now I will make the edges of my pattern to align with the edges of my fabrics. And I will make the shoulder line to align with the edges of the fabrics as well at the upper part, because this is going to serve as the shoulder line. Now I will be pinning my pattern together with my fabrics, so I will make sure the edges are aligned properly. So guys, now I have my pattern pinned together with my fabrics, as you can see, and the next step is to add my seam allowances all around my pattern. Okay, just as you know that I did not add any seam allowance on the pattern yet, purposely because I'm using this pattern to cut out the front and the back panels. So now I will be adding my seam allowances on the fabrics. I will be adding 1/2 inch of seam allowance on the neckline area. I don't need any seam allowance on the shoulder line because there is no opening on the shoulder line. And I will be needing 1/2 inch of seam allowance on the armhole area. Then I will be adding 1 inch by the side from the chest line downward to the hemline. In adding seam allowance on the neckline, I will be taking this shape up by 1/2 inch like so. So I will take this up by 1/2 inch. I will mark it. So I will be marking 1/2 inch following the shape I have on the neckline. Okay, then I will be connecting the dotted lines together with my curve ruler. So this 1/2 inch is going to serve as the collar allowance. So this is what I will be using in attaching the collar. Okay, so now I will come to the armhole area and I will be adding 1/2 inch of seam allowance on the armhole. I will follow the shape I have on the armhole and I will be taking this forward by 1/2 inch. Now I have my seam allowance marked out, as you can see. So now I will be connecting the dotted lines together with my curve ruler. Now this is settled. The next step is to add my seam allowance by the side. So I will be adding 1 inch of seam allowance by the side. On the chest level, I will take this forward by half of an inch. On the waist level, I will take this forward by half of an inch. Then on the hemline, I will take it forward by half of an inch. You can as well be marking your 1 inch on interval, then connect the dotted lines together. Okay, but for the connection from the chest level to the waist level, I will be making use of the same ruler I used in constructing the pattern, which is the very firm curve. So firstly, I will extend the chest level line forward on my fabric, like so. On the waistline as well, I will extend this outward, like so. Okay, then I will mark my 1 inch of seam allowance forward. On the waistline as well, 1 inch of seam allowance. So then I will connect the 2 points together using my very firm curve. Now I have my seam allowances added all around my pattern, on the neckline area, on the shoulder line, and by the side. The connection from the waist level downward to the hemline is with a straight ruler. You can see what I have. Then I extended the garment length line on the fabric. So from this point to this point is a hem allowance, and I extended this line outward as well. Then I took my 1 inch seam allowance. The measurement I have from here to here is different from what I have here. So for this reason, I have to take the 1 inch measurement on the garment length point, then take the measurement on the hem allowance line as well. So my connection is from the waistline to the garment length point first. Then I connected from the garment length to the hemline. So now I will proceed in cutting out my fabrics. Now I'm cutting on the neckline. Don't forget, this is the back neckline. So now I will be cutting out the armhole. This is the back armhole as well. I'm cutting the 4 pieces together. That is the front and the back panels. So guys, now I have my fabrics cut out. Then the next step is to place notches on my fabrics before removing my pattern. The notches is what will help when constructing the garment in order to locate each point so that both sides will meet properly. Okay, so I'll place notches on the waist point. So notching means cutting a little. Then on the garment length point, this is my seam allowance point. I'll place a notch here, just a little cut, like so. On the center front, I will not place notches on the center front, purposely because I have this side on fold. Then at the upper part here, this is the center front line. Don't forget that this is a placket allowance, so I will have a cut like so. I will extend my center front line upward. Then I will place a notch on that point. So with this, I will be able to locate where the placket allowance starts. So you can see this is the center front, and I will repeat the same process on the hemline. This is the hemline and this is the center front line. So on the center front, I will place a notch. So you can see what I have there. Then on the chest level, I will place a notch on the chest level. Here is the chest level line, and the remaining fabrics I have here is for the same allowance. So I will place a notch here in order to indicate the points. So now I know this is my chest line. Now I can proceed in separating my pattern from my fabrics.